ref. That's he got the ball. Good afternoon, Tottenham fans, and welcome back to the Irish Hotspur with your boy Dave for the penultimate game of the Europa League group phase, and a win guarantees us a last 16th place. Anything but, we will then be relying on results to go our way. But the good thing is our hands, or our destiny, is in our own hands, which is all we can ask for at this point. Let's quickly go around the panel, find out how everybody is, give you everything you need to know, and then we need to know what time it is. It's tell time, because apparently Tottenham have agreed a 60 million deal. So we will get on to that in just a moment. Let's go around the house. Jack, how are you, my man?
Time to tell the time, Dave. I'm doing okay. Ready for another Europa League palate cleanser, hopefully. That's what at least it's been for us, of late. We haven't gotten too much fun in the Premier League, but, the Europa League, as well as these cup competitions, have been some solace for us. They have been kind of for us happy clappers, for us people that take any sort of enjoyment from any type of win of any kind. I'd say these cup competitions have been our joy this season. So hopefully we get a good send off, Dave, to this Europa League phase, whatever you want to call it. Forget what even the technical term is for it, but I think it's been a smashing success and final chance to solidify ourselves in the top 8, which, what we've been told is definitely a huge advantage to be in. So big game for us. Look forward to it.
Well, it means we won't have another Europa League game till March, which means then we can avoid a 2-legged playoff in February. So the less workload right now, the better. So we need to get the job done. But I will say to people out there, we are a cup team. There's a tale of 2 teams this season, one in the league and one in the cup competition. So I wouldn't write off the possibility of being able to get over the line with a victory today. And if we get beaten by elves, Santa's little helpers, I'll go absolutely ballistic. Dharma, how are you, my man?
Look, I may have problems with the ownership. I may be a little bit upset with Ange Postecoglou, but I'll never back my team to lose. We're going to win tonight. We're going to win well. We are the kings of Europe. We've won it twice. We're going to win it 3 times this season. Come on, you Spurs. Let's end this European League phase with a win, with a bang. And we're the mighty Tottenham Hotspur. We will rise. We will win. We will conquer. Come on.
Oh, well, hopefully so, Dharma. Hopefully so. Absolutely love that, my man. Down to Soren. Soren, how are you, lad?
I'm not too bad, thanks, mate. All I can say is tell him to pack his bags. He's coming home. Sorry, there's going to be some terrible puns tonight, isn't there?
Oh, there is, but you know what? I'm all here for it. It's silly season, isn't it? And, I already hear people saying, hopefully Harry Kane and Dyer can put in a good word. It's like, one of them done his best to get out of Tottenham. I'm not sure how much of a good word he's going to put in for us.
You never know. I mean, look, it's if the lad's not getting much game time, then hopefully we're an attractive proposition. But we all know of recent times that whenever it's out in the public, it's just a smoke screen. So let's just wait and see.
Well, let's wait and see. Look, we'll get into the conversation, like I said, because I do have a couple of other questions. It's not all, hip, hip, hooray if this does get over the line. I have other questions for people on this. And last but not least, Donovan, how are you, my man?
Big up, Dave. Big up, lads. Super stoked for today. It seems like the cycle of delusion keeps continuing here. We got ourselves pumped up and then we fall back down. We skip back ourselves, fall back up, fall back down. I'm starting to feel like one of those lads who bring you up parasailing or jumping out of a plane with a parachute there, and you're halfway up and you're wondering what the hell am I doing up here, and then it happens over and over again. But you know what? It's okay. It's the life of a Spurs fan. And let's finish off this Europa League campaign on a high here before we get to the knockout business end of the season. So it's a big chance to put some momentum in our sails heading into Liverpool, and we're at home today. So time to right the wrongs. So let's do it.
100%. And look, a home win is long overdue as well. I think it's been 5-6 games, if not longer, since we haven't won at home. So a big win, would absolutely alleviate some of the pressure. But we're also going to talk about what atmosphere to expect tonight. I think that'd be an interesting conversation around what's going on around Tottenham Hotspur as well. But look, let's give everybody everything they need to know. Then let's welcome some people in and let's crack on. So everything everybody needs to know, we are playing at the Coliseum of Football at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Kickoff is at 8 p.m. tonight. Referee is Sebastian Geishammer from Austria, along with Alan Kjaus from Austria as well in the VAR room. In the UK and Ireland, it's on TNT Sports. In the USA, Paramount Plus, and in Australia, it is on Stan Sports. Team news, Udogie is out, Madison, Johnson, Udeberg, Werner, Solanke, Kinski, Reguilon, and Spence. Now, of course, I don't have the likes of Romero, who won't be included today, according to Postecoglou, but is back in training. The likes of Vicario, also back in training, might not be included today, along with the likes of Sarr and Basuma as well. So that's the people that definitely won't be playing today, but then there are a few back on the turf. So that's the injury news, but let's welcome some people in. We've got Deborah Smith. Hi, guys. Watch also Spurs interview with the head of sports science under Ange at Celtic and many years with Spurs. Very interesting. Do you know what? I actually listened to that last night while playing a bit of Ultimate Team, and I have to say it was a very, very, very good interview. I really liked the way he was interviewed as well. It was like all the, stuff said around him, around Tottenham, put to him, and, his explanations as well. Very, very interesting. I actually encourage everybody to go and listen to it. I think it's definitely a massive eye-opener for sure. Spurs diehards, Tottenham till I die says, good afternoon, Dave and Jack. Good to see you, my man. We also have Wembley 1 in the house this afternoon. All we know squad needs are irrelevant to Levy. He wants to pick up monies from a playoff tie and will push for full-on Ange ball and drop points. Look, if we don't beat Elfsborg tonight, I think there's going to be a lot of people on your side of thinking they're Wembley 1, where it's like, did we push for the playoff place so we could get extra games and extra revenue? But look, I don't think Ange is like that personally. I think Ange will go out, pick the best team tonight to get over the line and avoid them extra 2 games. You heard Kulusevski speaking about the workload, how many players are asked to play 3 games a week, etc. I think, there's a common, acknowledgement between manager and players, regardless of what Levy wants, that we have to get a victory over the line tonight and avoid that 2-legged playoff. Jack, very cynical of Wembley here.
I think then Levy would have to dip into what he's done before when he what was it, Dave? Which manager was it when he told them to play Soldado?
Sherwood.
With Sherwood. He told them to play Soldado and he said, no, I'm playing Harry Kane. I guess in this scenario with Wembley, it would be him telling Postecoglou to play the kids, and basically put the youngest and most inexperienced lineup out there against this Elfsborg team just to make it a little exciting, just to make it a little interesting. But like you say, I'm pretty sure Ange is going to go with what he thinks is going to get over the line here. In this case too, maybe then Levy is causing the injuries. Maybe he's like tripping players, in the hallways. Maybe he's like spiking the water, and things like that. But I'm pretty sure Levy hasn't gone that far yet.
Yeah, next you see speed bumps put in everywhere. Big up Wembley 1. Good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're keeping well. You going to tonight's game? Please do let me know. Who else have we got here? We've got Terry Wright. Great to see you, Terry. Hopefully you're keeping well. Says Tel's on the way. Mungie 32 says, evening all. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Mungie. Rob Frank says, big up, lads. Great to see you, Robbie. We've got Alpesh Patel. Afternoon, Dave and Jack. Just getting ready to leave for the game tonight. A must win to get through and to find our path through to the last stages of the tournament. Please, no more injuries. Yeah, look, we could really get through without, any injuries tonight. I think the lineup will be interesting. Who Postecoglou decides to risk. We know there's a lot of players carrying knocks as well. The likes of your Richarlison, Sars, Basuma. Does he risk Van der Ven? Does he risk Vicario? There's a lot to talk about on that front tonight. But Alpesh Patel, hopefully we get the win, my man. Enjoy yourself at the game. Let me know what the atmosphere is like. Check in on the watch along if you can at halftime and just, give me an update on the atmosphere, my man. Nick Kerry says, evening all. I tell you what, I'm not falling for this smoke screen again. Come on, you Stars. Wilson T says, afternoon, chaps. Think we'll finish the job tonight. Big up. We've got Mick Carmelo. Good evening, Jack and Dave. We've got F and Hell. Hiya, lads. Come on, you Spurs. Just a harmless potato. Evening all. Come on, you Spurs. Big pants. Welcome back, Dave. Your leadership and common sense has been missed. Appreciate that. Not sure. I think you're the only one saying that, though, is what I would say. Kilkenny Spurs up. Kilkenny Spurs says, well, lads, hope this finds you both well. Here's to a winning performance tonight and greetings from Kilkenny. Absolutely great county as well. I've been down to the castle and everything down there. It's a very nice place, Kilkenny City. Darren Johnson says, even the boys, Dave, how are you feeling? Yeah, a lot better today, my man. A hell of a lot better. Daniel Capel Music says, hey, fellas, it's game day. That it is, my man. Jimmy Hotspur says, big up, everyone. Sebastian says, Ange wouldn't get the sack even if we lost by 5. We've got Del Boy, Derek Hutchinson, big up, Dave, Jack, Dermot, Donovan, and Soren. 4-0 Spurs win tonight. Come on, you Spurs. We got Ribsy85. Hey, all, good to see you, Ribsy. Hopefully you're keeping well down under, my man. We also have Carl Simpson in the house. Big up, gents, and everyone in the chat. Great to see you. Daniel says, there's no telling. Absolutely love that. Bing Guy says, just rumors. Jack Bloom says, hey, Spurs fans, good to see you, my man. Stateside Footy says, afternoon, gentlemen. I hope you're well today. Look at our record in cup play and Europa League play, and our form and record show that Spurs have sold out to win something this year. Interesting. Very, very interesting there. Ed Sweeten says, big up, lads. Important game. Hoping to see more energy then with the return of Mickey at the start of Mickey. Come on, you Spurs. Well, look, Romero's due back as well, at the weekend. So I think that excites me more, seeing Radu Dragusin take his place on the bench. I couldn't believe it when I started seeing him ping 60-yard passes the other day. I'm sitting there, I'm like, the guy can barely move the ball 10 yards. Why is he trying 60-yard passes? Who told him he's Pirlo? Absolutely was driving me mad. We've got Ginola as well. I'll be there for my sins. We'll try to resist decking our chairman. Come on, you Spurs. Well, look, please do. I think any violence towards the chairman, I think immediately all the attention stops, everything else. It spins the narrative. So I do encourage anyone, please don't do that. Shem Tam says, afternoon, Jack, Dave, Donovan, Dermo, and Drew. It's not Drew, it's Soren today, Shem. Says anyone else? Well, they could be brothers. We don't know. We have to get DNA tests. Says, and anyone else that turns up. Nice to see so many Spurs fans in one panel. The more, the merrier. Come on, you Spurs. Good to see you. And then I'll just check back in, make sure I'm not missing anyone. Matthew's in the house. Hope the panel is doing well. If someone starts up top, I can't see us scoring in open play. I mean, look, can we just put an end to this experiment? I mean, it just doesn't work. We've done Leicester's job for them. I'd say Ruud van Nistelrooy was clapping Postecoglou off the pitch. Move him up front, neutralise Son's threat. Game over for Leicester. Absolutely madness. Big up, Davey Hall. Good to see you. Legend 27 says optimistic. Look, you always got to be optimistic on games day. We've got round talk. Good to see you. Round table talk. Hey, fellas, great to see you. We've also got Ange Ball. Big up, lads, and chat. Come on, you Spurs. We have Jacob Farrell. We're having more injuries than recoveries. Yeah, Tottenham hospital right now, so we are. We've also got Sonny in the house. Good to see you, along with Dan Davenport, capping pants as well. Great to see you. Make sure we're not missing anyone. James, big up, Phil. Great to see you, my man. Mud FC as well. Kyle, good to see you. Kyle Hare, great to see you, my man. We also have Chem in the house. Big up, Croydon Dave. Beckenham lad here. Must win tonight. Need to halt this never-ending slide. Had to be hard to be too optimistic. No, look, I fully understand it. Look, we're all sitting here hoping and praying for the win tonight. MJ Marcus, good to see you, along with Andy English as well. Wayne Bonner, as always, good to see you, Wayno. Who's this Van der Ven? Did we just get him in the transfer window? Van der Ven, yeah, no, look, absolutely brilliant player. Daniel Harris says, big up team. Harris checking in. I'm at the game tonight. Ready to seeing Daniel Levy get out of my club. Absolutely love that, my man. Hopefully you keep him well. And look, the louder the better, the more pressure puts on them. All of a sudden now we're seeing links to 4 or 5 strikers since the weekend. So ironic that. Big up, Tyler. Good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. Enjoy your lunch break. Slim by Tubbs, the Oxymoron. Tequila and Mario is in the house. Jeannie D as well. Good to see you. Chalks Tottenham. Jamesy Flower. Good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're keeping well. Kev G. And Danny Darko as well. Great to see all of you guys. But look, let's crack on. Let's get into it. Let's have a conversation around Mathys Tel. Jack, we'll start with you and then we'll head down to Soren. Reports suggest the Spurs have agreed a fee with Bayern for Mathys Tel, believed to be around 60 million euros. Now, it is up to Tel to decide whether he wants to join Tottenham. Now, the whole reason why he wants to leave Bayern is for game time. You think at Tottenham with about 10 fit players, it's probably guaranteed. But with a lot of interest from other clubs, there's no guarantee that he will choose Spurs. How would you feel if this deal goes through? Is he a player that excites you, Jack?
I was initially more excited by this as like a loan type option. I can hear my for a second I was hearing myself. I was initially more excited by this as like a loan type option, kind of a bit of a taster. Like I said, 48 hours, all of a sudden you find out that he's available. You could kind of bring him in. High quality teenager. I think he's only 19 years of age, still quite young. Technically hasn't really, when you look at numbers and goals and assists and everything, technically hasn't done a whole lot, but he's one of those many, Dave, I've said this before on the big upstreams, many talented Parisian suburb, type players, right? In those suburbs of Paris and just in and around that area, you get some of the most talented footballers in and around the world. And he was one of them. He came through, I believe, Rennes at the time. Bayern were scouting him. He's actually quite big, for someone who's 19. He's like 6 foot, something like that. At least he looks a bit bigger than you'd think, for someone that young as well. I kind of like the looks of him. He's kind of has that sort of silkiness of, good touch for kind of a big man. He's not super big, but I do think he has a bit of silkiness to him and a bit of kind of flair to his game. It's just kind of hard to tell, though. It's another young player that technically, like you've said, Dave, before, isn't proven, isn't necessarily that experienced. He has been brought into one of the most biggest clubs in the world in Bayern Munich. He's clearly very talented and he's clearly well rated by a lot of people. It's just that the guy wants playing time. And for a period in the last few months or so under Kompany, he wasn't doing very well. And he actually looked kind of poor under Kompany. Whereas under Tuchel, you could say he looked a little bit better, but he still was super young and he was only getting fringe minutes. So I don't know, Dave, I'm not super excited about it since it's going to be a huge fee. It's going to be 50, 60 million or something like that. Then again, it's not my money. It's Daniel Levy's money and he needs to spend the money. So I'm kind of happy at least we are going to be getting a player. It's just if it were my money, I'm not sure if I'd be spending 50, 60 million on the guy. I actually like the opportunity of a loan, but there's so many clubs after him. Chelsea, Arsenal, all these clubs are after him. If you really want him, I guess you really got to go after him.
And where does he play, Jack, for anyone out there that doesn't know? Out
striker,
wide,
left
through the
wing,
middle?
I'd say. Striker, left wing, kind of a bit of both. Can play as a second striker type of player.
Fair. Well, look, we definitely need players in the forward area. That's what Postecoglou asked for in January. Soren, how do you feel about this? Mathys, whatever. Look, I'm shit with pronunciations. I'm just going to call him Tel. How do you feel about these rumors? Is he a player that excites you? Is he a player that you think can help change Tottenham's fortunes this season?
Oh, I think you're on mute there, Soren.
Hang on. Yeah.
No,
I've heard rumours that they were changing the Daniel Levy chant to Daniel Levy get Tel to our club. So, look, the lad's got talent. There's no doubt in that. He's certainly at sort of 16, 17 was the next big thing. And I think he's kind of stifled a little bit. And then obviously just dropping down the pecking order a little bit. But I fear the biggest problem is going to be that we're going to get another 19-year-old in and the fan base is just going to whinge that it's another youngster. But, the lad's good enough to start, certainly for us, especially at the moment. And for me, he does upgrade us straight away. It maybe doesn't upgrade us to, sort of world-class, phenomenal type player, but it certainly upgrades what we've got. And I would expect he will probably, if we do get him in, he'll go on that left wing in front of Min Hyuk, who's obviously going out on loan. But maybe that's why, maybe we are confident enough that we're going to get him because we've sent him out on loan. I don't know, but to me, yeah, it's a no-brainer. You go out, you get him. It's another young talent, and if we do get him, then it just reinforces how good this Tottenham team could be in the next year or two with all these youngsters in it.
What do you make of the fact he doesn't want to come here, Soren?
Well, we don't know if he don't want to come here yet, do we?
Well, he's not jumping the gun, and he says he's taking his
no,
time.
But I mean, why would he? He's a young lad with potential to go to a lot of top clubs. I think the rumours were that Man United were his first choice, but Man United can't get him in until they shift other players, unless it's on. I don't even know if they can get him on loan. I don't know what the deal is, but look. Don't think anybody could argue right at this particular moment that Tottenham is a club that a lot of players want to come and play for. We're in free fall at the moment, and it's not just the team that are doing it, but look, the fans are in fighting. There's more fighting between the fans. It's quite a toxic club at the moment, and it has been probably for the last three years. Probably since Conte came, I would say. This club has been more toxic over the last 3 to 4 years than it has in the 40-odd years I've been supporting it. So it's understandable that he might not want to come. But then, for me, if we pitch it to him right and say, look, yeah, things aren't great at the moment. I understand that you've got reservations to come, but this, we've got some absolutely top talent, youngster-wise, coming through, ready to play. And look, I don't know if Ange is going to be in charge next season or for the rest of this season even, but whoever is in charge has a team there that could could do a lot of things. I mean, we're still in all the cups this year, so I mean, there's nothing to say we won't win a cup. I know a lot of fans think that we're going to crash out against Liverpool, but look, we're still we are 1-0 up against them, so there's every chance. And if it's pitched right to him, then don't know. I don't see why we can't get him. I mean, I suppose it comes down to wages and things like that, but we know that we are quite tight on wages. And how much do you offer a 19-year-old kid? This is the question. I mean, I think rumours are that he's on about 38,000 euros in Germany. But, you know, if you offer him 150,000, then if he still turns it down, where's the, you know, where do you stop for a 19-year-old kid? If you offer him 200,000, it's going to be a phenomenal, by the time he's 21, 22, 23 and is ready for another contract, you're looking at 250, 300,000, and we know we're not going to offer that. So I think it's down to how we sell the club, if we can sell it to him. And we you know, everybody whinges at the wage structure that we do pay, but let's not forget there are a lot of incentives on top of that wages that we do pay. You know, it's not just a straight salary. There are a lot of bonus schemes that Daniel Levy just put in, and where we look at and say, oh, so and so's on 90,000, he might actually be taking 150 on by the time he finishes. You know, I mean, nobody's hitting any win bonuses at the moment, are they? So, the only other thing that worries me as well with this is, so far over the last 2 to 3 transfer windows, every one that we've been mooted to be in for, we've never signed. We're always, you know, it's always the ones that we didn't know about that we end up signing. So is it a smoke screen? Is it for once real that we are going to sign? I mean, look, you know what I feel about all these in the nose and things like that, they tell us one thing and it never happens. So as much as I'm skeptical about it, I'm the same as any other fan, that fingers are crossed, feet are crossed, toes are crossed, everything else is crossed that we do get hit. I mean, it's not just him. We've got to get somebody else in as well. Let's not pretend, you know, if we get one big signing and it's Tel and it's 60 million euros, which is what, 50 million pounds, whatever, it's still not enough. It is still not enough. We've got to get somebody else in as well. So, you know, let's not get carried away. One big signing is not enough to shut the fan base up.
100%. Couldn't agree more. You know, we could definitely do with another left back, for instance, you know, or an out and out winger. You know, there's definitely more we can do in this window. Look, I'm really skeptical for 2 reasons. One, I don't trust Johan Lang, and 2, look, you know, I see since the Leicester game, we saw Tel, you know, I saw some other striker in the Bundesliga today. I'm not quite so sure, you know. I wonder, are we at panic stations? I want to throw this question to Dermot, and then I've got a different maybe question around the tail for Donovan. Dermo, SOF says, big up SOF says, sounds like Tottenham is low on Tel's list of destination. This screams of Diaz deal to Liverpool, Bayern using Spurs to name the price. And, you know, it did scream at that because I think it was a couple of Januaries ago, you know, there was rumours surfacing out of Portugal that Tottenham had put in a big for Diaz, which then all of a sudden Liverpool jumped, you know, met the asking price, and all of a sudden he's a Liverpool player. Are you worried that this could be the case here?
Yeah, I am. I mean, Chelsea and Man United are in. From Chelsea are offering a permanent deal, and Man United are offering a loan deal. Look, it's all, the Soren's right. It's all about how you sell the club to the player. I mean, me and Soren do agree a lot. I know one time we didn't agree.
No, we don't.
No, we don't. We don't like each other off screen. We're fighting and screaming at each other. But no, he does make a valid point. It's how we sell the club. But it's down to the player. If he's looking at Chelsea thinking, it's all about where clubs are in the league. He's looking at Chelsea. They're high up in the league. Champions League next season. Looking at Tottenham, all right, down in 15th. Will they get Europe? Probably not. If not, unless we win one of the cups. He's looking at Man United. Do you know, Man United sort of name goes before them. So I think he's now looking at where am I going to be playing next season? And he wants Champions League. He ain't going to get that at Tottenham next season. He ain't going to get any European football at Tottenham next season unless we win the Europa League or one of the, I think it's the League Cup, is it? You get Europe, or is it the FA Cup? You get Europe. I can't remember which.
I think the League Cup is Europa Conference League, isn't it? I think the FA Cup is Europa League.
So unless we win one of those two competitions, then we're in Europe. So look, I think it does scream a bit of the Diaz deal, but Bayern do owe us money, 20 to 25 million euro. So it might be a way of them Bayern saying, okay, then you give us that player and we can knock that off what you owe. So I think there will. I think, look, it's down to the player. If I was him, I am a Spurs fan. I'd go to Chelsea because I know I'm guaranteed Champions League football next season, and every player wants to play in the top league. I'm not going to go to a club where I'm not going to go to a club where we may get into Europe the year after. I don't know if the manager is going to be there or not next season.
I think he's already said he don't want to go Chelsea, though, Ante.
Oh, well, I think
he's already turned them down. I think
he's already turned them down because
as I said, I haven't seen. But look, for me, if it happens, great. But I agree with that. I agree with Son. We need another player in, and maybe that's Wazza for this Brentford player. Maybe we're getting him as well. I mean, talks. I know Soren doesn't believe in the nose, and I know Dave's very skeptical of the person I use. But all I got told this afternoon is that talks have actually on the Brentford player have actually gone up another notch. So we could be looking at 2 players in by Monday. But I think Dave's right. We need a left back and we need a striker. What's the point of going for a winger? Get what we need. We pay the lowest wages in Europe. Out of all the European leagues, we pay, and you cannot build a winning side on low wages. I was on Talk Sport the other day. We can spend up to 180 million this summer. 180 million this window. Just go out and spend the fucking money. Excuse my language. Sorry, Dave. Just go out and buy the players for the manager. If you want the manager to work, buy the damn players. This has been the problem, Dave. You said it before. Manager after manager after manager after manager never gets backed. How many times have we sat on these shows where it's not the manager, it's the players. It's not the players, it's the manager. It's the damn owner. Spend the fuck. If you don't want to spend the money, get out of the club. One or the other. Just spend the money.
No, look, I completely agree with that. In terms of when you brought up the Harry Kane there, the money that's still owed. Look, maybe it could be a part of getting this deal over the line. What I will say is, how royally have we had our pants pulled down? We've sold the world's best striker, and we're going to say, oh, in order to help you out because you probably can't pay us, we'll just take one of your young prospects. I mean, we've had our pants pulled down, bent over, and absolutely royally shafted. It's absolutely unbelievable. And at the end of it, your man Postecoglou, who throws Spurs all the time, he's winning. It's absolutely disgusting. And it just goes to show, how much we've been bullied by a bigger club, to be quite frank. But Donovan, I want to, ask maybe a different question because I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit skeptical on this deal, right? In previous transfer windows, we've signed players who weren't quite first team ready, and that recruitment approach has played a big part in the situation we're in currently now. Do you think Tel is ready for the first team, or are we at risk of making the same mistakes as in past windows by investing in potential rather than players who can come in and contribute immediately?
Yeah, I think we're fine. I've seen enough in the data-led market that it's been successful for us. Right away, though, he was supposed to be that next starlet back in the day. I remember we were after him a couple transfer windows ago when Conte was here, and they wanted 40 or 20 million or something like that. And we were like, no, we're not paying that much for an unproven talent. I think there's a little bit echoing what Dermot when you were saying there. And I agree as well that there's a couple of things we might not know behind the scenes where, they can't owe us all the money. So we're paying them. They're paying us back in this, because how Daniel Levy likes to look at these all as assets, right? These player assets, and what is this player worth on the books? So if this player's on the books is worth this amount of money and you owe us this amount of money, that might just be easy for Daniel Levy as a business decision and rather looking at it business first rather than football. But I believe that he has to fit some kind of data for a club. Vincent Kompany went through and not every player fits every manager. So I'm hoping that it's rather that than his lack of actual ability. But either way, being brought up in the Bayern Academy, you look at all the players that did come through the academy and are playing internationally now out of the clubs, like they're doing quite well, right? So the Bavarian club knew how to develop talent. So nobody knew Van de Ven, nobody knew Vicario, right? Nobody knew Doji, right? Nobody knew Sar. So recently, in the last couple seasons, our recruitment has definitely improved. So we have Big Dom, and we have yet to see what happens with Charleston. So Leila might not even get a lot of minutes with everyone fit. But right now, if he does come in this January, I don't think he has a choice. I think he's going to have to sink or swim, one of those baptism of fires where he gets thrown right into the limelight, right into the British media, right into the press. I know it's a pipe dream, and it seems like a long lost dream, but someone in your chat was saying, bring throwing the likes of Jonathan David out there, and yeah, I agree. Like, I don't understand why we can't go for a proven international footballer that's scoring double figures in every season. He's been professional. We could get him for a modest fee. He's in the last year of his contract. It seems like an opportunity signing to me. And there's not just Jonathan David. There's other strikers in the world that are like that too, that are coming to the end of the contract or a veteran experience, almost like a what was that big guy we had, Lorente? A player who can rely on, that has been there, done it. So this does scream a Daniel Levy signing. This screams a club signing. But you just have to back the guy. Like, we can't affect this negativity that's going around the club right now and in our fan base to kind of already make a rod out of his back before he even gets here, because you have to get behind the lad, kind of like we did with Kinski, right? So I'm looking forward to it. Just any player over the door right now, any player, sign a new tea lady, I don't care. Just get this club rejuvenated, keep it going. And no news is good news. So,
but I almost feel like we're at that point where we're desperate now, where we'll accept anything. The fact that we were told we had all these plans going into January, we're still sitting here now. It screams of a window that has gone completely wrong, and now we're scrounging around the market trying to see what we can bring in. Look,
but that's Tottenham though. That's Tottenham in a nutshell. Sorry, I don't interrupt you, but that's just Tottenham though. Like, I don't know what we're expecting.
No, I know, but this is the problem though. This is why we keep going through all these managers and stuff like that, because we don't do things right, and this is where we do need to try and force a bit of change. Look,
break the cycle.
Exactly. If Mathys Tel comes in, I think he's a great prospect. Similar to the Burn, similar to Bergwall, similar to Gray. Great prospect. But we're talking about the here and now. Buying prospects is why we're in this situation in the first place. When we got injuries, when we got all that stuff, we can't turn to experienced players to come and alleviate the situation. Yes, the youngsters have stepped up and done well, but the reality is we need experienced players in here. We needed it in the summer, we failed, and again in January we needed it as well. Even players over 25 that have been playing week in, week out. And we've gone and brought Kinski, and we've gone and brought Mathys Tel, two youngsters in this. We're just not learning our lessons, and I think we're sleepwalking into the same problem yet again. I tried to highlight it in the summer. Everyone called me negative, and now we're in this situation where it has come back to bite us in the ass. And I think the same thing is going to happen here. Mathys Tel is a fantastic prospect, but he doesn't play week in, week out. It's a different ask coming to the Premier League, asking him to play week in, week out, whether it's through the middle or out wide, and asking this guy to bring the consistency that we need at this football club. And that's the big problem in the forward area. We don't have killers in the team. We don't have guys that can finish them chances or create chances on a regular basis. And with Mathys Tel being 19, he's raw. That's why Bayern are willing to sort of, allow him to leave and stuff like that, and not really put up too much of a fight, because he's raw, and it's going to take time. And for me, I listened to that Also Spurs podcast, and the guy, that was being interviewed, he said, look, one thing to me is that this isn't Ange's recruitment. This is clearly club strategy with all the youngsters they're bringing in. Ange Postecoglou at Celtic was signing players over the age of 25, ready to come in and impact the here and now. And again, we're at a point where we're signing academy, we're signing kids. I'm not being funny, but we've also got Will Lancashire, Jamie Donnelly, people like that also around the club. We don't need any more. We need someone that can come in, hit the ground running now, and start, a bit like an impact similar to what Kulu had a couple of years ago. Come in, hit the ground running, and just give us consistency between now and the end of the season. And I feel like we're making the same mistakes again. And I don't want to hear anybody tell me, this is Ange Postecoglou signing. Go and listen to the interview at Also Spurs. I've been telling you all along that the recruitment is being club-based and not for Postecoglou. And I don't want to hear any Postecoglou fans come at me saying, Dave, get behind it. Because all it's doing is failing Postecoglou. So I will not get behind it. Anyone else want to jump in that before we move on?
Yeah, I'm just going to finish my point. Great passionate rant, by the way. Like, that's what this club's all about, is passion and people's single opinions, like their own opinion, right? Let's just get that clear. That's just one person's opinion. So the reality of the fact here is that we have an unproven talent that comes in from a foreign league that is from a club, let's be real, that's bigger than ours, right? With an academy that's better than ours, with an academy that's been in the industry producing world-class talent for the last 2 or 3 decades, a club that is levels above us. We are the great Tottenham Hotspur, but let's be real, when it comes to likes of Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, heck, you can even argue Celtic and Rangers in a way, the way that they've been in the game for the length and time they've been and the success they've had in their domestic leagues. So we do have to show some respect to that. Yeah, and nobody wants a 19-year-old prospect on the last day of the transfer window, because the way I look at it is the damage is already done. Like, I'm a cup team. I'm a cup fan. That's what it's going to be for the rest of the season. The league's done. We're not getting top 4. I don't want to come in negative, but that's the reality of the fact that we've, like Dave was saying, he preached this earlier. I don't know if Jack echoes the same mindset, but with regards to the league, but all these signings that we needed to happen the first week of January, because the results we've had are like insufferable. We can't go back and fix the past. The damage is done. So the way I look at it is that anything new is just to kind of, bring the squad a little bit closer together, and hopefully we can make a run in these cups. Maybe we can make a run in the Europa League. I don't even know how this works if he's cup tied for Bayern in the Europa League. So can we even use the youngster in the Europa League if we do make a new squad? Who knows? But the fact that what I hold solace in the fact is this guy is that I'm not going to let the negativity of the current club situation cloud my judgment of this youngster. And I'm going to take the solace of the fact that there are likes of Manchester United, who are historically a bigger club, who've won a trophy last season, by the way. Chelsea, who have eclipsed us in the short time Roman Abramovich took over the club. And you might ask, that's Russian oligarchy money, pumping money into a situation. And that kind of existence doesn't exist anymore. Like, Manchester United is screwed right now, because back in the day, you could just pump money into a new club. You could get a new manager, you could get new backing, you could go whatever, and you could play that career mode financial takeover and fix your club. But now financial fair play exists, and clubs like that can't do that. You could argue Chelsea doing some backhanded stuff with moving accounts around and investing sneakily to the women's team and then taking funds out from different sources, whatever. But financial fair play exists, but these still big clubs are linked with this guy too. So, maybe we're guilty of being a bit not tunnel vision, but maybe we're a bit what's the word here? Jumping the gun, a bit negative, because who knows, the guy could come and be a world beater. And nobody thought Archie Gray, right? Nobody thought Archie Gray could set up to the level he was at right now, right? Lucas Bergvall starting to come to the show. And I know you can't rely on these unproven youngsters, and it's not a sustainable business model to build around, because I will agree with you. I would rather have an Ollie Watkins, or even have a Tony, or even, I'm trying to think here, like even that Gerard Moreno, that Spanish international, has scored 15 goals a season since he was a professional. Somebody with a caliber of experience where it's like, hey, this is my career, this is what I've done, this is what I can bring to the first team. But how many times have we signed those kind of players before? Soldado was a great now name before he came to Spurs, and he couldn't hit a barn door, right? So it goes both ways. I'm willing to back the youngster. I don't want to get on him right now, because this kind of stuff will taint this transfer before it even happens, right? So that's the way I look at it.
Look, I fully understand what you're saying, but look, I don't think it's negativity. I highlighted it in the summer, and everyone told me I was negative then. Look at the situation we're in now. I preempted it. It's not negativity. It's realism. I've got 6 months of evidence behind me, of my opinion. And that's where I'm at. Look, like I said, I ain't going to taint the kid. I will give the kid every opportunity. My opinion isn't against the kid whatsoever. My opinion is against Tottenham Hotspur making the same mistakes yet again. I will give Tel every opportunity. And let me make that clear to everybody. I will give this kid every opportunity to succeed at Tottenham and give him a chance. But who I am calling out is the club, because again, I think we're sleepwalking into the same mistakes. Jack, Soren, Donovan, or Dermo, anything you want to say before we move on?
I said my piece in the beginning. I think it's kind of a waste of money for 60 million. I think we could spend our money a whole lot better, and it does speak of desperation. It also speaks of a lack of actual planning ahead of this transfer window, that we've also pounced on something that's like only happened in the last 72 hours, 48 hours. Like, he's only just become available. Like, we've only just found out about that, and now apparently Spurs are just all over it. Just screams of a lack of sort of planning and a lack of preparation ahead of this window when we already knew what we needed to be doing. That's how I feel about it. That's my final
Let's not forget, though, that we were looking at this kid before. It's not something that's new. You know, I think we tried to get him when we sold Harry Kane as part of the deal.
Embarrassing.
It's only the fact that he's
embarrassing.
Well, no, I mean, he wasn't for sale back then. That was the problem. It's only the fact now that he's asked to be sold because more competition is coming in, and he sees his playing time being reduced even further. But let's not forget, this is a 19-year-old kid playing for Bayern Munich. He's not playing for, Wolves.
But he's not playing. That's why he wants out, though, isn't it? He's not playing.
Yeah, but what I mean is, when we talk about sort of Archie Gray and Bergvall, it's not the same caliber of player. We're talking about somebody that's had a good 2 or 3 years. I think 2. I can't remember how long he's been at Bayern, but he's got playing time with Bayern Munich. He's not raw. The kid knows what he's doing, and he is a talent. He's as good as anything we've got at the moment. And
2 goals in a Champions League. 2 goals in a Champions League. That's crazy.
Yeah, but look at the players he's playing around. Harry Kane, all them players.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not going to get that service at Tottenham. Let's get real.
No, but the thing is, where we're all saying, we don't want another kid coming in. It's a little bit different with this player. He is a player that's got experience. He's still 19, and I get that, but we're not talking about somebody who's never played at a top level club. He's played at a club that's bigger than Tottenham, for God's sake. That this is a kid that, even at 19, probably has a better winning mentality than most of the Tottenham squad. So, let's not. Yeah, I mean, let's not pretend that he hasn't played with world class players. He's coming to Tottenham, and he'll walk into the team. He will walk into the team. I mean, it might be different when we've got a fully fit everybody and everybody's on form, but at the moment, he'll get game time. And look, as much as you might want to go to Man United have got the other kid coming for 30 million. They can't afford him at the moment. Arsenal, they're after, is it Ollie Watkins? They're after him. So, he's not their priority. So this could be an opportunity where we go in. It's not something that's just suddenly we thought, this kid's come available. We don't know who he is. Let's go and get him. We have tracked him for a while. So, it's not something fresh. And look, you preluded to that interview with I can't think of his name now, on the Spurs.
Yeah.
I mean, where we talk about it's not Ange's players at the moment because of Celtic. Let's not forget, at Celtic, those players will probably costing him 5, 6, 7 million. You're not going to get that sort of caliber of player that he wants at Tottenham for 5, 6, 7 million. So I agree that it's probably, these youngsters probably are his first choice. But I would also suspect that if Ange didn't want him, they wouldn't be coming.
Well, I think at this point, even if he's the only thing that if he's the only player that the club can bring, of course you're going to take him. It was the same with Werner last January. If he's the only attacking player the club can bring when you need attacking players, of course you're going to take him. You'd rather take, someone over no one. But, it still doesn't make it right for Postecoglou. There's other players out there that Spurs can go after with more experience, and this is the big problem, just because, players cost more at Tottenham, but we've got more funds than Celtic. We're able to go into the market. We've more funds than most to spend. We just choose not to. Look, like I said, I think he's a huge talent. I just worry, I think it'll be one that will pay off in the long run, for sure. Don't get me wrong. But is it going to pay off this season? I'm not quite so sure.
Dave, I mean,
Go on, Sean, I'll let you finish and then we'll let Dermo in.
do we not think this season's already written off other than the cups? I mean, I suspect that the fact that we're still in Europe, and I know it's obviously not the same money as Champions League, but I suspect that Daniel Levy, for once, and look, I could be totally wrong, I usually am, but for once, maybe he's looked at this and thought, right, if we're going to go down the route of getting youngsters in, and we're not going to expect top four, top four's already gone, I'm going to stick by Postecoglou and get these youngsters in, get them blooded in, which obviously wasn't the initial plan. I get that, but maybe this season's already written off for league position. As long as we can kind of get Europe next year, which is still possible through the league, it's still possible through a cup, then maybe there's a little bit more wiggle room. And next year, whether it's Postecoglou or somebody else, we're going to have these youngsters of Archie Gray, Bergvall, Mikey Moore, not so much Lancashire, but say we get Tel, all with Premiership experience then under the belt. And, next season could be exciting. I know not many Spurs fans share that dream. I mean, I'm sure Dermot agrees with me that, look, it could still be exciting, but it's hard when you keep getting kicked as a Spurs fan, and I get that. And, not many Spurs fans have got much wind left in them. I mean, I'm a big lad, so I've got plenty of wind left in me. People tell me I'm talking hot air all the time, so maybe that just helps. But I see these youngsters gelling together and being quite an exciting team for quite some time now. We're not talking this season, obviously. This season's just gone. But look, just imagine the dream. We go and win the Carabao Cup. We do well. We might go and semi-final, quarterfinals, final of Europa Cup, FA Cup. We could get somewhere. All of a sudden, we've done a cup, which is what most Spurs fans want, and we kick on from there. Maybe this is Postecoglou turning around to the players and saying, "Look, if we can get a cup, and you know what the feeling of winning a cup is." These youngsters are going to want it more and more and more. And, the youngsters are hungry. You can see that. They're knackered, but they're hungry.
Sure.
Let's hope that hunger sees them through this and we kick on. We might not, but why not dream?
Yeah. Well, look. I think the long term is certainly exciting. You merge the young talents we've signed with the academy prospects. I think future is certainly bright, but we got to get there first. You got to get through this season. But Dermo, I'll let you come in and finish off on Tel, my man, and then we're going to move on.
Look, I've been saying it on my channel as well that the transfer window has now come back and bit us in the ass. I've consistently been saying that. It wasn't a great window. It was a great window of outgoings, but not a brilliant window of ingoings. In fact, the ingoings was quite crap. Look, we're getting this paid for 60 million, which I think is too much for him. I agree with Jack. I think 60 million is far too much for him. We don't know how we are playing the Premier League. How would he cope? The English league is a different league to European football. It's a lot faster than most European leagues. And how is he going to cope with the physicality of the Premier League too? So we can't just say this player's the next best thing coming or he's going to do brilliant, because many players have come from Europe and failed in the Premier League that we've bought over the years. So you when you're buying a European player, you're sort of buying a little pop lock. It can either turn out to be the best thing since sliced bread or turn out to be a big flop. We just don't know, because the Premier League is such a physical, quick league. On very quickly on Daniel Levy, and this screams to me panic. This is just panic. We should have got this all started. We should have got our ducks in a row before the window opened, and we are missing Paratici. I am sorry.
Well, his ban is up in July.
Yeah, I know, and I'm glad. But the point is, Dave, Paratici involved in the one summer. Who did we get under? We got Vicario. We got most of the group that are players now were all bought in by Paratici. John Lang comes in. Who do we get? Nobody. Scott Munn comes in. Who do we get? Nobody. I would love to know what them two do. Do they sit and watch Teletubbies all day, eating donuts and drinking coffee?
Well, Lang will be Paratinci's tea bitch when he's back. Just like Steve Hitchens was for a while.
Yeah, Lang wants to be sacked. For his job is untenable because we've had windows now that have been dreadful. And again, I come back to it again. We pay the lowest wages in Europe. If you're a player and you've got two clubs offering you, and we're offering you a piddly amount of money a week, and say Man United, you're offering you double what we're going to give you, where are you going to go? You're going to go where the money is. Players don't just play for clubs. Players play for money. It's a short career. They want to make as much money as they can because they can go out. One player could go out to, say, tonight and do their knee in, and that's their career finished. So they're going to go make as much money as they can, in the career they have. We need to be, if we want to be a big club, we've got to act like a big club. We were a big club once before. And I know, Dave, you hate saying back in the day, but we were back in the day. We're not now because we're not paying the wages. We're not attracting the big players with the way that we're playing. And nobody's going to come to us while we're 15th in the league. And no Champions League. Players want Champions League football. They're going to go to Champions League teams. It's as simple as that. So if he comes, I'll support Tel. I'll give him my support like I do all the players. But am I going to jump around the sitting room when this comes confirmed? No, I'm not. I'm just very underwhelmed by it. And again, it's Daniel Levy doing what Daniel Levy does best, which is stitching us over. And all he cares about is his own bank balance and not about the football club. We are a football club, by the way, at the end of the day. We're not an entertainment business. So, Daniel Levy, remember who we are, because I think you've forgotten. Sorry.
No,
I'm just angry, Dave. I'm just angry. I'm sorry.
I'm dead.
I get it. I get it. Look, everyone's angry with what's going on at Tottenham Hotspur right now. But look, we'll end that discussion on Mathys Tel. We'll get into today's game and we'll start with some team selection. So we'll fly through some of these sort of, build-up questions quickly. We'll start with you, Jack. Tottenham tonight host Swedish side Elfsborg in the penultimate Europa League group game. A win would see us advance directly into the last 16, meaning we wouldn't have another Europa League match until March. However, draw or worse could leave us relying on other results, potentially finishing outside the top 8 and facing playoffs in February. How crucial is it for Tottenham to secure the top 8 finish tonight and avoid the extra workload and give fans something to cheer about in Europe? And do you think progressing in Europe could, provide the team the boost they need for the second half of the season?
As much as I have loved the new competition, the new format, it is absolutely crucial that we win tonight and we guarantee ourselves those automatic spots. Because what is funny is, despite me liking the new format, what UEFA have successfully done is they force players to play more games, but then they're also eliminating fewer teams in the Champions League. Because even though we're really enjoying the new format, when you look at it, actually fewer teams are being actually completely eliminated. There's more teams that do get into the playoff rounds, so-called. There's just more games in general in the Champions League or in the Europa League as well. And so Spurs have clearly suffered, from already this season, a lot of games, high intensity, that type of thing. We have to do everything in our power to basically avoid extra games. And also, I do think you get a significant home game advantage for almost the entire run of the rounds as well, which I think we would like on top of that, to have that sort of home game advantage for games. So Dave, for me, just to break it down simply, the new format I really like, but as we know, football, everybody's talking about players playing too much, injuries causing, injuries derailing teams from players playing too much. We have to find a way to avoid that, and that would be winning tonight.
Do you know what? I agree with you, Jack. I actually really like this new format. It gets rid of a lot of the dead rubbers. I think it gives the smaller teams in the competition more of a chance to be able to, do something. I actually really like it. We even look at the way the Champions League group finished last night. Man City, PSG, Juventus, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid. I think, if I'm correct, they're all in the playoffs now, so I think it's very, very exciting in terms of the new format. But look, with more and more games, I think, this is why I keep saying, especially in modern day football, it's important to build out a proper squad, maximize it to the potential. You're allowed 25 senior players, and then after that, you can have as many under 21s as you want. So, this is where Tottenham need to get on board, start flooding that academy, and also get the full 25-man squad together. Once you do that, you have more than a big enough squad to be able to go and compete across all these competitions and manage, the games and everything else. But Jack, sticking with you as well, Elfsborg has managed to frustrate other teams in the Europa League with their solid defensive setup and quick counterattacks. So basically, we're going to see what many teams have done to us: set up low block through the middle, invite us to go out wide, look for ask us the questions, and as soon as they get the ball, they're going to counter. But they're also very, very good on set pieces as well, Jack. Now, there are going to be no pushovers. They come into this game knowing a positive result for them would secure a playoff spot. So they're going to give it everything they've got. But you've seen, at times this season against the likes of Ipswich, Palace, who else is there? Leicester, other teams like that. Teams that do set up a bit more pragmatically against us in general. We struggle. Yeah. So my guess is, what sort of performance are we expecting to see? Or how much of a do you think? Are you worried that Dr. Tottenham will, step up today? But also, Jack, what sort of performance are we expecting to see from Tottenham Hotspur today? No, the fatigue. Kulusevski spoke about it. The players are running on empty right now, playing 3 games across the board. So, what sort of performance are you expecting to see from us today?
Luckily, I don't think Dr. Tottenham plays a factor because Elfsborg have actually played quite well in this Europa League, so they're not in need of a win, or they're not in need of a charity type of performance from Spurs here. But I do think it's going to be frustrating, Dave. I don't really expect us to completely blow them away or anything like that. I think they'll sit deep. I think they'll frustrate us. I think they'll be physical with us as well. I think you can get that sometimes with maybe teams from leagues that don't get to come up against Premier League sides as often. How do you try to level things out? Part of the, maybe way you do it, a bit of housery, a bit of time wasting, a bit of physicality, trying to get, into players sort of kind of, mindsets, or just trying to rattle them nice and early. And also, I think these teams that don't really have, players on hinges, don't really have players that necessarily have, been there on the big levels or the big stages. You have a lot of guys that might be playing out there with a chip on their shoulder for that Elfsborg team. They didn't even finish that high in the Swedish league, but they've done very well in this European competition. So clearly they're reserving their better performances, or there's some sort of camaraderie there, some sort of motivation there for these big games and for these big occasions. And that does worry me, Dave, because, those type of teams, I think Spurs have struggled against historically, where maybe we underestimate them, or we're just not ready for that type of battle against a team that's going to sort of dig in against us and maybe try to stifle us and frustrate us, and maybe the more unconventional, less pretty, more ugly type of manners. And I think it'll be fun. I think it's going to be a good game. Like I said, a Europa League palate cleanser, but I don't expect it to be 4-0, 5-0 or anything like that, because Spurs are not even capable of scoring that many goals against a team like Tamworth. But also, it's just, I think this team clearly have done quite well so far, Elfsborg. And if they get a good result, like they really, I think, solidify themselves, I think, in some sort of manner in the playoff round. So I think they still look to try to get something from this game. They're not going to roll over.
I do think tonight the fans are going to play a big part.
True.
You've got a team coming that.
Well, Drew, just hold on there 1 second. Oh, sorry. My bad. Just hold on there 1 second, because I do want to come to you about the atmosphere tonight. I just want to get this from Peter Kagaios. He's gifted out an Irish Hotspur membership. Who's that gone to, Jack?
It went to the one and only Paddy Hartnett, Dave.
Oh, big up, Paddy. Make sure you say thank you to Peter. Fair play to you, Peter. Really appreciate the support, my man. Jack's also telling people to smash the like if you're joining the conversation. And the Big D says, 13 months, lad, I appreciate everything you do. Look, I appreciate the longevity of the support, Big D. I really appreciate it. I'm surprised you haven't got sick of our voices by now, my man. Really do appreciate the support. He says, feels longer than 13 months, man. Do you know what? It happens, where you see people, for whatever reason it doesn't and goes back again and stuff like that. But big up the Big D. Really appreciate it. You've definitely been around a long, long time for sure. But sorry, I rudely cut across you there, but I do want to ask you about sort of, you were alluding to the atmosphere tonight. What sort of atmosphere are we expecting? Because it's a weird one, because everyone wants to get to the last 16 in the Europa League, but it's hard not to ignore what's going on around Tottenham. You heard chants, the day of Levy out, banners being unveiled and stuff like that. So it could easily be another sort of toxic atmosphere towards the owners and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of my worry that especially when we are playing the kids and the sort of the third team almost. Look, you get the fans' frustration, and I don't think anybody could argue why it's happening, or that they're right or wrong. The only thing that I would say personally is, for those that are in the stadium tonight, get behind the team and then show your frustrations maybe just before half time, at the end of the match. Fair enough. But if we go in there and it's a crap atmosphere, that team could roll us over. There's not, I think when you listen to a lot of players, the crowd does make a difference to them. And if you've got the crowd on your back, you make mistakes. I mean, we can make mistakes at any time. Let's not joke about that. But if you go into this match tonight, and European games at the Lane used to be absolutely electric. The atmosphere was superb. And as much as I get the frustration, wouldn't it be absolutely fantastic to go into that match tonight with the crowd absolutely buoyant? And I know they're not going to be, but absolutely buoyant, really supporting the team. And then at a certain point, whether it's just before half time or let the chants come out. But if them chants come out early and the team are mediocre, it's only going to go downhill. It's only going to go downhill. Now, don't get me wrong. The team have to come out and play to keep the fans on side and to keep them silent a little bit. But I just hope tonight's European game does not turn into something just all about Levy. Because I think if it does, then we could get beaten. And if we get beaten, look, everybody's going to turn on Ange. Everyone's going to turn on the players. But I just think if the crowd are on side tonight, look, if it's all gone wrong with 80 minutes, then 70 minutes, just do what you need to do. But to me, we've got to stay behind the team. And look, if there's banners, there's banners. If there's flags, if there's a chant here and there, but just please stay behind the team tonight, because the team really need us. And if we get through this, then we can go on. But if we crash out tonight, it's a toxic atmosphere in the stadium, then it's all combined as to why.
No, 100%. Look, I fully agree with you. It'd be interesting to see, what way it's approached. Jack, I'll be back in a second. Just speaking to Emily here quickly. But Jack, Jack, Darmo, or Donovan, one of you come in on the atmosphere question, and then I'll have a quick say on it, and then I want to move on and talk a bit about Kulu coming out in defence of Postecoglou. So whoever wants to come in off the back of what Sarna said.
Yeah, Donovan hasn't said anything in a while. So Donovan, I mean, how important are the fans? Having to lift the players here.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the fans have done enough, man. I think they're showing up. They've done their part. I think it's up to the players now. Really try not to let the mood, bring me down. Just trying to keep my own positivity going. It's so easy to get sucked into a toxic, just this down or negativity, like the woe is me. But it's like the reality of the fact is that the team has given us nothing really to kind of cling on to in the league. But what I'm clinging on to is the fact that we are very good in the cups. So I feel like Ange just captured lightning in a bottle, and I feel like he wants to go out on the Europa League in a bang, set us up nicely for the knockout round. But everybody knows that Kulizeski chant. Everybody knows the banners that were there at the last game, and I presume they'll be there again today. I don't know if it's a panic buy from Levy to try and maybe save his skin, whatever happens here in the last couple of days. But like I already said, the damage is done. So I do agree with Soren that players can feel the apprehension of that 12th man. So as long as it's relatively positive at the beginning, we should be fine. We're just too much for them technically, and just a physical. We're like a beast. Like we're a sleeping giant. We've been for a while. So let's use that authority. Kind of like we did against Leicester, but I agree with you, Jack, on the fact that it's like we don't have that gas anymore to blow teams away. 4 goals, 3 goals, 2 goals. Right? Even scoring a second goal in the game seems a little far between. So if we get that early goal, let's try and hit him on the counter attack. But it's the same thing for them. This is a big day for them. They're going to London. They're London, England. This is like a big venue for them. This is a big cash generating machine for them. They're going to be up for the game. The players are going to love playing in this atmosphere, playing on the stadium, and everybody knows Tottenham are down. And I know what their coach is telling them. Their coach is like, "Oh, go out there and play their game." And nine times out of 10, they're going to crumble, right? Like, look what happened against Manchester United. We hung on by the skin of our teeth. So, it's going to be end to end. I still think we're going to win. But I wouldn't surprise me if we had any negative Levy chance. But I hope the Irish, because like I want them to be football first and to support the team. But it's really unacceptable what Daniel Levy's done to our club. It sucks. I was really supportive of the guy for a long time, saying what he did as a business and everything. But I think Darmo nailed it on the head earlier perfectly. It's like this isn't entertainment business, mate. This is a football club, right? This stuff matters to some people. This is like our livelihood. This is where we find our passion. Right? We've rightly or wrongly somehow done our path. Maybe it's karma from past life, but we've chosen Tottenham Hotspur as our source of pride and enjoying the football world. And you talk about railroading us, Dave. We've been railroaded for the last 16 years, mate, by this ownership group. They only care about lining their pockets. They only care about the dividends at the end of the season. He gives himself a bonus. Okay, I don't want to get I'm getting myself worked up. No, he's giving himself a bonus, a £250,000 bonus on his season that we had one of our worst finishes. So you know what? I hope that he does get an earful, and I hope he does get more cameras on him, and I hope he does get more awkward, and that pressure cooker of an environment does keep building. But I still want the team to win. I still want us to go on a bang. So find that happy medium, is at 60-40, 70-30, get there for the team. If it was me, I'd think of 100 things we could do in the crowds, man. We could, we could have one of those dummies with a Lynch up there and Daniel Levy and everything. It'd be great, but we have to win this game of football first. So,
no, look, in terms of what you were saying, just quickly on Elfsborg, I think there also has to be a recognition. They're going to rock up here tonight. Their best player recently got a move to Plymouth Argyle. A lot of them are going to put themselves in the shop window tonight. So they're going to be up for it. They're going to be on it. They're going to try and play their best to try and get an avenue into English football. That's where the money is. It's where everyone wants to come. So you have to take that into recognition. Look, in terms of the atmosphere tonight, I think it's one I would hope, up until around 80 minutes, hopefully job is done by then. It's a really good atmosphere to try and push the boys over the line, because I think we have to recognize, we have to show appreciation to the club, but also, force the ownership to change their ways, or even try and force them out to sell up. Look, I think, if we can't get behind the lads for 80 minutes tonight, that'd be absolutely brilliant. And then the last 10 minutes, sing all the Levy out chants, sing the Kulu song, get the banners out, because I think it is important that you keep the pressure on the ownership. Look, I think you have to recognize, right? Club like Tottenham, it's very good for us to have all these revenue streams. But the problem we got, the more revenue streams we're seeing coming in, and the more we're being told, it's going to aid the football side, but the worse the football side is getting, the worse the recruitment is getting, and it's not matching up. And when you're seeing the likes of Kieran Maguire, financial experts who, famously come out and praise Levy for his business side, saying, well, look, it's gone too far one side, I think there is a warning sign there. And I think, it is up to us fans, to make them understand you are not going to take the piss out of us before you. I know you see it as a business venture, but this is our livelihood. This is our football club. This is what gets us through 365 days of a year. And there has to be a happy medium. I've always said this. There's an importance that the ownership understands, the importance of bringing the fans along the journey. You bring the fans along the journey. You're transparent with them. You don't get that pressure. But the problem we've got now is it's all about the money. We're raking in money from abseiling. We're raking in money from F1. We're raking in money for concerts, boxing, you name it. We're raking in the money, but we're not seeing it being invested on the football pitch. And when you're selling our best players like Harry Kane and stuff like that, it's only going one way. So for me, I think it's very important to keep the pressure up on the ownership. Yeah. And like both of you guys have said, there has to be a happy medium in the stadium. I think, even fans that, may not see Levy as the biggest enemy the way other people do, I think there has to be an understanding. You have to let people vent their frustrations. But also, I think off the back of it, it's not important just to use this noise now and do stuff in the stadium. I do think, if you could get a strong collective of prominent people of the Tottenham Hotspur fan base together, to organise something that's done properly, done in a cordial way, done in a way where you can get the majority of people down and get thousands of people down. It's the only thing that's really going to keep them on their toes. Even if they don't sell up, you would hope that it's enough to even make them recognise that there's fans that they have to be able to appease as well. It's not just a Marks and Spencer's or something like that where you can just do what you want and tell your customers to take it or leave it. You come with passionate, loyal fans who will not allow you to do that. So, I think there has to be recognition on his side as well on that. Anyone else want to finish off that before we move on?
Yeah, if you don't mind, sorry, Jack, go on.
No, you can go ahead, Dermo.
No, go. You go ahead, Jack. Go on. Sorry.
I just wanted to add that with Levy, I think where people are finding the frustration is, and I mean, it's been 20 years of it, like the business has improved. Like we have to all admit that he's done excellently in that side of things. The status of the club has been elevated. A lot of manners in which the club can make revenue. It's been modernized. So many achievements in that regard. But when it comes to actually the football side of things, we've just continued to make kind of the same mistakes over and over and over again in such a cyclical manner that I do think people get really disillusioned by it and are actually getting just so fed up with it at this point that it's like anything in life, Dave. If you watch someone basically make the same mistake over and over and over again without any recognition of the mistake, without any recognition of trying to, render it or trying to fix it for next time to try to avoid that mistake, and you're just watching them do it over and over and over again, you're going to get either really fed up or you're going to be kind of just done. You're just kind of just going to give up on the person. You're going to give up on whatever it is that you're watching. People even feel that way sometimes when it comes to, watching even a pothole get fixed. They're just watching, the thing just go weeks and weeks and weeks without getting fixed until they practically just become disillusioned by it. It's just something that I don't know. I think fans, rightfully so, just become so fed up with that. I think it's all really reaching a good boiling point. In a way, a good one.
The thing is, there is a world where the two can coexist, where you can have all these extra revenue streams to fund a really good football team. You're making money hand over fist, and you're also winning trophies. There is a world where both can exist, a happy medium. But right now, what you're seeing is more of the money going into other avenues rather than the football team. And you're seeing it actually, counter on the scales one way, and it's nowhere near good enough. And like I keep saying, I think there has to be a happy medium. I don't want to really hear anyone complaining that fans are venting their voices. The only way you ever really get change is by venting your frustrations and stuff like that. So it has to be done. It has to be done for the betterment of this football club moving forward, because I think one thing we can all agree on: no one likes losing games. No one likes where we are right now. No one. We're all miserable. I look around, no one's smiling, everyone's angry, everyone's stressed, everyone's pissed off, and this can't keep going this way. There's a world where we can be successful, plus have the best revenue income and be an example to absolutely everybody. A bit like what we were under Pochettino, where we were everyone's fucking happy medium, where you've got a great football pitch, a really good coach, and you've also got owners, that are investing in the club in terms of the stadium, the training ground, and everything else. At one point, we were the glowing reference. Now we're the ones that everybody laughs at, and we need to change that. But look, let's move on, because I do want to have a discussion, guys, around Kulusevski actually coming out in Postecoglou's defense in the pre-match press conference. And look, we all know that Postecoglou comes into this game under growing pressure following our 2-1 defeat to Leicester at the weekend. And many reports over recent weeks have suggested that Postecoglou still has the full support of the dressing room. And Kulusevski has come out in strong support of Postecoglou off the back of that, stating that he believes in his manager's philosophy and style of play, that the issues run deeper than the manager and the players. So question is to open panel, and, just go on this. Do you think the players backing Postecoglou will be enough to rally the team and reverse the recent form we're on and gather momentum? Or is the pressure on Postecoglou's tenure too much to overcome, even if we do end up sort of stringing a run of results together? So whoever wants to come in on that, feel free.
I don't think it will be. I don't think players supporting Ange will keep him in the job, because it's a results business at the end of the day. It is a results business. Football is a results business. If you're not providing the results, it doesn't matter if all the players are behind you. If you're not getting the results, you will be sacked in any line of work. I worked in construction all my life. If I didn't do a good job or dug my foundations correctly or did my groundworks correctly, I would be sacked. I wouldn't be given another job because I work for myself. So my own business, I wouldn't have a business. because I wouldn't be doing my job. And so the people working for me, oh, Dermo's he's a good manager. He does his work. Well, results don't lie. I didn't do my job properly, so I would get the sack. It's the same in football. Football is a results business. It doesn't matter what the players say. The players all come out and say the right thing. But let's not forget, players do throw managers under a bus. How many players at Tottenham over the past through Mourinho, through Poch on the Poch shaft, and we're all praising Poch, by the way. How many players threw them under the bus at the end? How many players was it? Ben Davies went to Levy, get rid of Nuno. Look what Nuno's doing now in Nottingham Forest. I'm sorry. Too many. It's all about results and player power. Football isn't what football used to be. It's totally different now. It's a business. And the sooner people realize it's a business, football is ruined by money. Football years ago was a simple game where two teams play every Saturday. You get 30 or 40,000, say, at White Hart Lane or whatever. And yeah, the grounds weren't great. Okay, the grounds improved after Hillsborough. And managers were in the job a lot longer because there wasn't so much pressure on them. Now it's all pressure because results mean money. Money means if you finish in the league, you're going to get so much. If you finish in the Champions League, you're going to get X amount of money. And it's all about owners paying themselves profits and paying themselves bonuses. Levy doesn't take a dividend out of the club, but he pays himself a damn well good bonus at the end of every season. The Glazers take dividends out of Manchester United. So, look, it doesn't matter what players say or do. Players will be loyal to one manager to the next manager. You know, they don't care. It's all about results at the end of the day. If Ange doesn't get the results, and this is a fan for over 40 years, so this is only my experience. If Ange doesn't get the results, then he will be sacked at the end of the season or sooner. And then another manager comes in, the players will get behind him, and then if things start going wrong after 18 months, then the players will start down in tools, and then another manager goes. So, you know, at the end of the day, I don't listen to what players say because they're as fickle and as two-faced as the next person. And players may say one thing in public, but probably say a lot, probably different in private. James Maddison, that row. You know, he says in public, you know, I support Ange, but privately, he's having a go with him. So I don't listen to much what players say. You know, that's just my opinion. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be down. I don't mean to be negative, but it's just how I'm seeing it at the moment, guys. Sorry, I do apologize.
No, look, it's absolutely fair enough. I mean, I'd be worried if you were sitting there clapping your hands, you know, and praising everything going on right now. Look, who else wants to come in on Kulusevski and your interpretation of it and stuff like that? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I think where Dermot's partly right and partly wrong, to be honest with you, because I do think the fact that the players are still on side with him is actually keeping him in a job. Because if those players had down-tooled by now, he would be gone. And where Dermot's right in the sense of it is a results business, we know it is, and the results aren't good enough. But I don't know whether it's money that's talking with Levy or whether it's the fact that Ange might be a yes man or what, but the fact that those players are still on side with Ange is keeping him in a job. Now,
it's the biggest metric it should be measured on, though, right?
Pardon?
Should be the biggest metric it's been measured on, right? You know,
the thing is, I think when you look at the club, and look, many people want to blame Ange for the injuries. Look, let's not pretend that he hasn't got some blaming within it, but I think anybody that watched the interview the other night with Spurs, it shows you that it's not all down to Ange. And those that think it is all down to Ange, you need to go watch that interview. And the fact that Kulu came out, and I mean, I've heard from people saying, oh, Kulu was told to say it, you know, to make it. He put his job on the line in a sense because he has damned Levy in a sense. You know, he's had a go at Levy, and if you
think he's going to when he says it runs deeper than the players and manager.
Yeah, I mean,
the next one. Who's
that to me was the polite way of what Conte should have done. You know, that was basically saying the exact same as Conte was, that, but a lot more subtle and a lot more objective, that he's come out and he said, look, for all of you that are blaming Ange, the players, we're still behind him. He's a good manager. He knows what he's doing. He's not as clueless as these people out there are saying he is. You know, I mean, there are a few people out there that just literally throw insult after insult after insult against this manager. And I mean, I'm not saying he isn't to blame. He's, you know, we know he's done a lot of things wrong, but when you've still got the players coming out and basically saying we're behind the manager, but the problem is deeper than the manager, which is basically saying, look at the top of the pyramid, which is what a lot of the fan base are shouting about, then that if Levy comes out and sacks Postecoglou, you know, the players aren't going to be happy if they're still support. I mean, don't get me wrong, like Dermot says, as soon as a new manager comes in, they'll forget about Ange. We all know that's how it works. But the fact that they are still on side with him tells you it's not the right time to get rid of him. Now, look, if all of a sudden, I mean, people are talking of a relegation battle, and we're not quite there yet, not in my eyes.
Let me ask you just quickly on there, Soren. I was listening to that interview you're referring to at Also Spurs, and I encourage everybody to go and listen to it. Even if you do think Ange, you know, you're Ange out and all, I do think, you know, for balance, I think everyone should listen to it. You know, he sort of backed Postecoglou to go through this tough spell and really come out the other side and push Tottenham on. Do you agree with that, Soren?
I mean, I let's go right back to the beginning. Did I want Ange? No. I didn't have a clue really who he was. I knew he was the Celtic manager. Was he my choice? No. As soon as he became the Tottenham manager, he has my backing. He's the manager of my football club. Do I want to sack him now? No. There have been times within the last few months when we've lost a game and it's like, look, I'm done. I've had enough. You know, we've spoken. Now, you look at it and I don't know whether I could be delusional. I don't know. I could, you know, people keep telling me, what am I smoking? I don't know. I just see that there is something at the end of the tunnel. I honestly do believe there's something at the end of the tunnel. And we knew it was going to be a rebuild, and rebuilds are so painful. Nobody expected it maybe to be as painful as this. But at the beginning of this season, the fan base was saying, we want a cup. We don't care where we finish. We can be in a relegation. All of a sudden, we're still in chance of a cup. We're in this relegation battle, and the fans don't want it anymore. If we weren't in the semi-final, second leg, 1-0 up against Liverpool, he'd have gone. I have no doubt about that. I think he would have gone by now. The fact that we're still in this cup keeps him in the game. But I don't know. I do see, and especially after listening to that interview, that you listen to it and you think, do you know what? This makes so much sense. It really does. I mean, look, if you get through the doom and gloom, in a sense, they always say you have to hit rock bottom to come back up. We're not far off rock bottom. The only way left is up. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying we're going to go win the league next year, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do that. But I do honestly think Ange Postecoglou, with a lot of luck, don't get me wrong, and the team staying fit and starting to understand his ways and what he's asking of them, I do see some success at Tottenham Hotspur. Now, he's either manager that's going to bring us silverware year after year after year. Is he going to win us a title? No, I don't think he is that manager. I think it's probably the next manager. But he is, with him and the whole system, the whole club is going through an absolutely massive change. We're not the club under Conte, as much as people want to tell us it was great, it was a mess. It really was toxic. Under Postecoglou, the football is crap at times. His substitutions, his team picks, his lack of rotations is unfathomable. But I don't know. There's just still something in there that It just gives me some hope at the end of the tunnel.
Can I jump in there, Soren? Can I jump in there, man?
Yeah.
So I agree. I agree a little bit with Dermo, a little bit with you. I think the main thing here is like the fact that the players haven't turned. Like I know we're saying all the footballers only play for money, they don't play for the club, they don't do this, and at the end of the day, they throw their toys out of the pram. And when all hell hits loose, players will turn and throw the manager on the bus. But I think the main fact is we're trying to address here is the fact that it has turned toxic, it has hit rock bottom. We are there, and the players still haven't turned on the manager. And I think that's the thing that we're holding on to right now because we were sitting 8th. We were sitting 6th. We were sitting top 10, and players were still throwing tantrums and throwing the toys out of the pram and wanting a big change because their egos couldn't take sitting in whatever position that was at the time. I look back, what tells me it was the biggest thing is a couple of weeks ago we had this conversation about Pedro Porro and how I criticized a lot of having his head turned by Madrid and having no faith in Tottenham or Ange or any of the project that kind of, because he had his own personal ambitions above it. But the fact that a man like Pedro Porro is going to put his own personal accolades aside and potentially sacrifice his move to Real Madrid and come out publicly and still back the man and still be behind this project and still put in these performances and obviously has not down-tooled and is still risking injury every single time he goes out on that pitch for this. When you have a player of that caliber that is still behind this mentality, when you have a world-class player like Dejan Kulusevski, who is emerged this season, who I wrote off a couple years ago when he played on the right, but now he's proven that, we don't even know what the ceiling is on this guy with a consistent run of games and a good team with a good, solid people around him to take him off in the 60th minute when he's tired, to have proper backing in the financial market, to have other players with that mentality. Who knows how good this guy could be in the 10 role. So when you have players of that caliber that are still behind Ange and are still behind this project, I have to agree with you, Soren, in the fact that you have to hit rock bottom to go back to the top. And I do delusionally see the light at the end of the tunnel. We are in a cup semifinal. We are one leg away from a final. And then anything happens in a final. We know that. And we have a manager who's gotten over the line in a final before. As long as the board don't do something stupid like they did with Jose, I think we'll be fine. But as regards to Dejan Kulusevski, I wouldn't expect anything less from the lad. The guy's class. The guy's ooze class. I think he realizes now that the limelight is on him. I think we're seeing a boy become a man right in front of our own eyes. I see him. Some people don't like the stardom. Some people embrace away from it. We look at the Scholesy who would ride his bus to training and stuff and would never go under the limelight. But we have a young, confident man who has no problem taking on the shoulder this pressure and saying things as it is. And I'll leave it at this. I think it's really funny what you said there, Soren, how it's the polite version of what Conte should have said. And yeah, I think that nails it in the head. It's clear to see that what the problem is here and what the problem has been for the last 16 years. The players can play on the pitch and see the banners when they're warming up now. They see everybody's clearly not back on Levy's back. And the fact that the man has a chant named after him, I'll give you a scene, man. We're 1-1 against this team, and then Dejan Kulusevski scores a winner, and then everybody sings that song in the stadium. What can you do? I guess the last thing I'll say is that if Ange were to get sacked, and if the board were to get to boost him out, this is where I strongly disagree. Is where it's like I don't see these players two-facedly as they were called, or on the fence where they'll flip-flop. They won't back another manager. They won't. They'll submit in transfer requests and they'll get the hell out of this toxic burning fire of a club, because we've seen so many times in the past managers go on and succeed outside of Tottenham Hotspur. Players go outside and succeed outside of Tottenham Hotspur. These players don't just exist in these bubbles and then they just play the game and then they don't talk to each other. James Madison and Reece James hang out all the time. These players go away to these international camps and talk to each other, right? They have friends on other clubs and other different leagues and stuff. And the noise is behind Tottenham Hotspur is that it's a dysfunctionally run football entity that has no idea what the hell they're doing at the helm, and it extends down to the first team. And if they're this behind a manager and they're this far back and they believe in the guy this much, just to see him tossed away like another, oh, nothing, we'll just bring somebody else in. A lot of these players are going to be on their way out. I'm talking about Romero, talking about, Son's going to be here probably as a club legend and retire here. He's made his bed. He's made his decision, But Kulusevski, Bentancur, Udogie, Poro, Van de Ven might stick around because he's got such a long contract. Some of the youngsters that are bed into the club might have a choice, but these other mainstay players that are 2 or 3 years left on their contract with bigger agents and bigger moves and still have a time in their career to make a move, yeah, I could see them wanting the hell out of this club. And I wouldn't blame them. I really wouldn't blame them if that were to happen. But I'm focusing on Ange. I'm all chips in, all chips on the board, and we'll see what happens against Liverpool because we're 3 winnable games right now. We have this game, we have the Brentford game, which is going to be tough, but it is a winnable game. And then we have the Liverpool away. And if we can win those 3 of the game, anything can happen against Villa. Suddenly, it's a totally different light for the rest of the season. And call that delusional, call that happy clapping. I don't really give a damn or a rat's ass because that's where we are as a football club. So you need to cling on to these little bit of results. And I don't want anyone here coming in here saying, oh, they were Ange in or back in the whole project when we were lifting the Carabao Cup away at Wembley at the end of the season. Because I'm going to sit here with my chest out and my arms up and showing my armpits while the rest of you guys are saying, oh, I backed him the whole time I was here. I was there. No, you weren't. All right. We know who
Can
was
I
there.
actually say something on that, actually, Donovan? I just wanted to say very quick. You made a very good point there. And I just want to jump on there. Look, me and Dave had the luxury of seeing Ange at Celtic. I know what he done. I've been before Dave jumps in and calls me a flip-flop. Joking, Dave. I am joking, by the way. I've been very frustrated and very upset by results recently, especially against Arsenal. And I get very emotional when it comes to Arsenal because I hate losing to teams. I was really fuming when we lost to Leicester. We shouldn't be losing to these teams. You can use injuries as an excuse. You can use bad performances, but we should be good enough to beat these teams. I agree Ange has to up his game management. I do agree that. I think he does have to upgrade his game management. It isn't good enough. But where I will stop is, I think it's very easy just because someone doesn't agree with Ange that they're Ange out or you're Ange in. We all support Tottenham Hotspur at the end of the day. We all support the team. We all support the club. We all want what's best for the club. We all want what's right for the players. We'll all be celebrating. I don't care if you're Ange in or Ange out. You have the same right to support the team lifting the trophy. We all support Tottenham in every which way we see fit. Doesn't matter if you're supporting them for 2 years or you're supporting them for 60 years. Dave has the same right as I have, as Jack has, or you have, as Soren has. But at the end of the day, we all support one team. We'll all wear their crest. We're all wearing their crest on our shirt. We all will stand up and we've all gone to games. Let's support the team. Forget the politics. Forget all the shite with Levy. That we need to get behind that. But let's support the team tonight. For 90 minutes, let's get behind. If you're Ange in or Ange out, it doesn't matter. What matters is supporting the players on that pitch. And when it comes to lifting the trophy, when it comes to celebrating, let's celebrate together as one and let's lose together. We're a team. It doesn't matter if you're Ange in or Ange out.
I'll tell you what, though, Dermot, with that, there will be a percentage of the fan base will be happy if we don't win the cup. I'll tell you now. Because
I'm not like that.
Yeah. No, I know. Look, I'm not saying any of us are, but there will be some fans out there that if we lose that cup, all they'll do is turn around and say, I told you so, he needs to go. And they'll be happy because they've been proved right.
Look, when it comes to, Postecoglou's future, I think winning games, I've always said this, winning games is what brings buy-in, belief. And I think what we're seeing now is, I do think there has to be recognition of what Kulu is saying. I've said it myself. You have to have the players to implement the style of playing the football. You listen to the interview with also Spurs. The guy said the exact same thing there. You listen to Kulu saying, look, I know what people are expecting of us, but we're playing 3 games a week with 8 to 10 players. Every single week it's draining, and, the fact that he's coming out and saying, Postecoglou and the players aren't the problem. He's put the problem further up the food chain. And that's, again, something I've been saying all along. I said, look, despite your opinion on Ange Postecoglou, he's not the problem here. We hire good managers at Tottenham Hotspur. We always have done. And I think, to be fair, we hire very good managers at Tottenham Hotspur. But, You know, when you look at the amount of managers compared to ownership every 2 years, every second season, 9 times out of 10 it goes tits up. Why? It's not because of the manager, because he's clueless, because he doesn't know tactics, because he can't motivate players, this, that, and the other. It's because of the transfer business you don't do, and that's our biggest problem at Tottenham Hotspur. And you know what? I think what's different, you know, this time around is when Jose Mourinho or Conte were getting a bit upset and annoyed by the situation, they lost the players. Postecoglou hasn't lost the players despite the results, which I think is quite telling, actually, to be fair to him. Look, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's this all harmonious dressing room that Kulu's trying to paint. I definitely think there's one or two, if not maybe a couple more in there that maybe don't fancy it. However, you know, I think the fact that Postecoglou still has the dressing room compared to Jose and Conte, I think does say something. And I think that's partly why he's still here. I think that's what you always tend to measure sacking the dressing room off, you know, whether the squad and the manager are pulling in the same direction. But look, let's keep kicking on because I do want to get Jack's thoughts on it, and then I'll give you this super chat, Jack, and we'll get your thoughts on it. Paul Markey, really appreciate support, my man. Hopefully you're keeping well up there in the big smoke, my man. He says, I believe Ange is gone at the end of the season. No support this window, and Romero's not a fan. I think you can add James Madison to that one, Paul Markey. Yeah, but Jack, what's your thoughts, my man?
I'd be curious how much Daniel Levy is willing to put his line on, put his life on the line for Romero, because Romero also has to show to Tottenham Hotspur that he does want to be here. I'm a huge fan of Romero, but you can't just sack the manager just because Romero might not like him or something like that. I think that'd be silly. My personal conspiracy theory is, Paul Markey, is that I think Daniel Levy is trying to avoid the potential mistake that he did with Jose, whereas with Jose had a cup final, sacked him before the cup final. No one has forgotten. Everybody has always brought that up with Daniel Levy. Even neutral fans, remember that he did that very stupidly. And I think he's doing something similar, or trying to avoid the mistake with Postecoglou, where Postecoglou is in a semifinal. He does have players returning back from injury. He is also, in another competition with Aston Villa in the FA Cup. He has the chance to go deeper into the Europa League. I think Daniel Levy is going to give him the chance to try to make up for a pretty poor Premier League season in the Cups. And if he doesn't, then I think Daniel Levy will sack him, to be honest. I think that's how he's seeing it. And I wouldn't blame him for looking at it that way. And he should try to avoid the mistake of the Jose thing of the past. But that's just my tinfoil hat conspiracy with Daniel.
But also I think, another question people constantly put out, why is Postecoglou still in the job? What manager is going to want to sign when he's coming in and he's using players that are fatigued, that he has to rely on, players that are coming back that aren't sharp, and the rest of the squad is out injured? With the amount of injuries we have, no manager's going to want to co-sign on this. And that's probably part of the reason why he still has time to try and turn it around. But I think once them injuries start coming back, which we're starting to see now, the injury list is starting to subside a little. I think that's when they probably measure him, to be fair. So let's wait and see what happens. But big up Paul Markey, my man. Really appreciate the support. We got Davey Harris in the house. He also says, interesting if at the end of the season, Levy says to the players, lads, we're off to Melbourne, playing Newcastle again. Yeah, look, I think that probably, that'll be here next season. Kaylee Davies, member for 18 months. Really appreciate the support. Says, just flatten the caps and enjoy the ride. Big up, Kaylee Davies. Look,
get the caps dirty.
Look, some people are good at blind fate. I'm usually good at that, but even I have my breaking point. Big up, Kenny Davis. Jason says, as long as the board don't do something stupid, and that's a big if. And then the owl lad put in a comment here. Let me just hear what he said. See what he has to say. He's probably at home trolling me. Imagine my father trolling his son. That's hilarious. No, he's only bantering me. I can't even find what he says here. I think I've missed it. But I think he says it's not about matter of right or wrong. It's fact. Something to that extent. So big up that. Hopefully you're keeping well. But look, I do want to keep this show moving because I do want to get in and talk about maybe the lineup today. We've got a few minutes left. So, Jack, I'm going to throw a few quick questions at you and we'll go around the panel until the lineup comes out. Just quickly, Jack, do you think Postecoglou should go with a strong enough squad tonight, or should he hold players back for Brentford and upcoming fixtures?
Just I personally, at the moment in time, I don't think we're going to get relegated. I think we can get away with a pretty horrible Premier League season. I think you have to go stronger in these cup games. I think you have to guarantee a win tonight. I think you do. If Van de Ven is good, I think you play him. If Vicario is good, I think you play him. I think you go with your strongest possible lineup pretty much tonight. Maybe the one player you look to rest, Dave, is Kulusevski. just because I think he's like so capable of pulling up with an injury at any stage. And I know you've had nightmares of that pretty much over the last few weeks or so, because we've seen everybody get injured except Kulu this season pretty much. So he's the last one to go. And I don't think we want to see that happen. So I would go for pretty much strongest possible lineup, whichever version of that is for you. Others will probably talk about that. But yeah, Dave, I think you do go for the strongest lineup to answer your question.
Yeah, and I think Postecoglou will, to be quite frank. You know, I think
I can sacrifice more points in the Premier League. Sorry.
I'm not sure many people agree with that now, Jack. I think you might have
that's
gone
crazy to say.
overboard there too far. But look,
Maybe.
you know, I think many people would probably, I think Postecoglou will go with his stronger lineup. So you sort of alluded to that you think if Vicario's fit, you know, play him, and same with Mickey van de Ven. So guys, let me know at home, you know, do you give Vicario minutes and Van de Ven minutes today? Do you hold him back? I know that Postecoglou said in the pre-match press conference that Mickey is fit and ready to play after a strong week and a half of training with the team. So we expect him to feature at some point today. You know, do people want to take that risk? Please let me know in the chat. Last player I'll quickly ask you on, Jack, and then we'll move on. Archie Gray has played 10 consecutive games, and look, it's clear that he's tired the last few games. Should Davies start a left back with Van de Ven coming back into the team to give Gray a much needed rest, even if it is for 45 minutes until Van de Ven's pulled out?
Gray is also probably in need of some rest, but I did listen to your predicted lineup, Dave, and like I was kind of disagreeing on, you know, some of your praise for Ben Davies at left back. He's had a terrific season. Don't get me wrong. He's probably been our best defender really this season. I just think he plays so much better as a left-sided center back, and I feel like it's a totally different story for him at left back. We've seen that atrocity that he put out against Crystal Palace away from home last season, and I still have nightmares of that performance where he had to be subbed off at halftime, and I think Emerson came on to save the day for us at left back over there. And remember, Van de Ven was doing pretty much all the defending of that left side for Ben Davies. That being said, maybe Ben Davies is just having a swan song of a season, and it's just playing out of his
contract's
skin.
up, Jack. That's what it is. You know what it is. Come on.
He's even faster. He's even stronger this year, more intelligent. I'm not sure, but Dave, for me, I just think his performances are so much better as a left-sided center back, and I'm a little worried that it's a totally different story for him at left back.
No, look,
but
absolutely.
I think he probably does. He, like you said, Gray needs rest, and there's no easy decision. So probably do play Ben Davies. It's just I was surprised by your Ben Davies left back praise in your pick.
No, do you know what it is? It's just like he's played there a couple of times in the Europa League this season, and I think he's looked actually okay at left back in terms of getting on the ball, progressing the ball, defending relatively okay. Now, look, I did criticize his defending.
I called you balanced out loud. I was getting my coffee. I was like, look at Dave, switching opinions on Davies. Sorry.
No, and look, when I look at it, under Pochettino, okay, it was a massive drop off from Danny Rose and Postecoglou, but that's where he has performed best at left back. Conte tried him out at left wing back. It didn't work. Jose tried him at left back. He got ran ragged. I just think, when we're in possession a bit more, I think maybe it suits him a little bit. But look, I did criticize his defending the other day. I thought he should have done much better with that cross that came in. Sure. And also he should have went and closed down El Canous on that shot. He done what Eric Dyer always does. Back off, shoot on my goal. It's absolutely mind-boggling. Go and close down the ball. Get a block on. Try and protect you. Maybe I'm old school, but I thought the whole point of defending was to try and stop that ball from going into your net at all costs. So I don't understand why people are backing off, allowing people to shoot. Yeah. But look, I think Archie Gray, he's played, 10 games on the bounce now. He's only 18 years old. It's a lot of football at this intensity as well. I just think, maybe even if we can just rest him for 45 minutes and then bring him in. We do have the lineup, so
it's like that one that comes out early,
we'll wait a minute,
and then the one from the
actual
actual club will come out, but this is the official one.
Okay, so
Mikey, I can try to zoom out. Maybe that might be easier.
Zoom out, and I'll give the lineup.
So very zoomed in. I don't know why. Can you
so
see
we
that
have Brandon Austin in goals. We have Archie Gray, it looks like at left back, Pedro Porro at right back, Ben Davies and Mickey van de Ven starting at centre back with Bentancur, Bergval, and who's the other midfielder?
Jamal.
Maybe could wait.
This one's hard to make out.
Bentancur.
I think it's Bergval, Gray, and Bentancur.
Bergval, Sarr, and Bentancur in midfield. You'll have Mikey Moore looking like probably off the right hand side.
The club have now released it. I don't know why. On Europa League nights, it's kind of strange.
So here we go. So
yeah, here we are.
We'll start again. Brandon, Austin, Ingles, Pedro Porro at right back. It looks like Ben Davies and Van der Ven. Or no, Archie Gray, sorry, and Van der Ven at centre back. Ben Davies at left back. Sarr, Bentancur, and Bergvall through the midfield with Mikey Moore off the right, Son off the left, and Richarlison through the middle. So, guys, let us know your thoughts in the chat on that lineup. Look, I did say in my predicted lineup, I thought he was going to go strong as possible. Look to try and get the job done early and pull players off. And I think the only player that I got wrong, two, was Dragusin and Sarr. So not bad predicted lineup from Dave, considering the amount of guessing I had to do. Jack, what's the subs bench? Enlighten us. What under 21s have we brought with us today?
Yeah, I've really given you the eye test today, Dave, on the lineups. Forster, Whiteman on the bench, 2 goalkeepers, Hardy, Dragusin, Casanova, best name in football, Basuma, Olasesi, Rio Kiermaitan, also one of the better names in football, Ajayi, Kulusevski, Scarlett on the bench. That's a huge surprise, right? Back from the loan, and then Lancashire. So there's your bench. It's a deep one in terms of number of players on it, but let's say in terms of actual impact players, maybe not a whole lot there. But Basuma makes the bench, Kulusevski on the bench.
Well, I'd say the whole of Sweden has now tuned out. I promised them that we'd get Kulu and Bergvall in the 2 number 8s, and something that I think they're all looking forward to. So I think the whole of Sweden are probably absolutely angry with Ange Postecoglou right now. However, I think Johnny Maddox points it out in the chat. It's good to get Kulusevski a rest, which means I can sleep easy tonight, actually. But look, let's go through there, guys. Let's get their thoughts on the lineup, and let's get their score prediction, and then let's get ready for the big watch along. Dermot, we'll start with you, my man. I know you have your own show to go and do. What's your quick thoughts on the lineup? And give us your score prediction, buddy.
Look, I like the lineup. I'm a bit surprised Scarlett's on the bench. Am I right if he plays tonight, he can't be loaned out then again? Because that's the 3rd club he's paid for then this season. Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
Well, no, Tottenham and Oxford are the only 2, right? Who's the other one?
Well, he can't play for a third, can he?
If he can't pay for a third.
Yeah, if he plays for us tonight, he cannot go on. So he's obviously staying if he plays.
He was obviously saying, I just wanted to confirm if that was right. I like the lineup. I think it's great. Kulu's got a rest. Excuse my language. Thank God for that. Van der Ven's back. Yay! Van der Ven. Van der Ven played some funky music with Van der Ven, the quickest centre back in the West. Speedy Gonzalez is back. Look, Benny Bentancur, the Uruguayan general in that midfield. We've got Richarlison, the Pigeon Man. We've got Captain Fantastic, and we've got Luke Moore, Neymar, and then we've got the Swedish Messi. I think that's the team that's going to win tonight. Everyone's surprised I haven't gone for the big one. I am. I'm going for a 5-0. We're going to whip them, and we're going to whip them well. I never back my team to lose. People should know that about me now. I never back my team to lose. So we're going to whip them. We're going to whip them well, as Muhammad Ali used to say. And we're going to smoke them, Joe. And then we're going to get the points. We're going to qualify for the round 16. We're going to get a good tie on that. And we're going to go and win that competition and repeat what we did 41 years ago when Graham Roberts walked on them steps at White Hart Lane. And last time we picked up that UEFA Cup, we're going to do it again.
I'm getting the vibe, Soren, that Dermatron is confident. He says we're going to give him a whooping in the terms of Jamie O'Hara. Do you agree? Looking at the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I am surprised Van der Ven's starting. But on the other side, everyone's telling us that he's not fit enough to start and he should only be playing a few minutes. If he's starting, he's obviously fit enough. That's the argument. Richarlison, some people were telling us that he was out injured again because of
It's a risky one, though, isn't it? Didn't he come off feeling a bit of a strain against Leicester? It's a risky one considering Dom Solanke's out to March.
Well, I suppose the argument is that maybe the fact that we was told, everyone shouting about he was injured, he wasn't as injured as people think. To me, when he came off, he looked disappointed to be coming off, and because he didn't want to come off. So I don't know, but I just think Van der Ven is the only one in that team that, look, we all want him back, but I think personally, I would have liked to have seen him come on at the end for maybe 20 minutes just to give him a little bit of a run out rather than risking him tonight. But that kind of tells you that, he's wanting to be fairly solid tonight. So, You hope it works for him. I
Mm.
like the team. I'm assuming Richie will be down the middle, Son probably on the left, Moore on the right. It's nice to see Bergvall starting again. You know, let him. He's obviously got a lot of faith in the lad. I'm just wondering whether Gray will play left back rather than centre back because of the way Davis.
It doesn't make sense to have two left footers filling up the centre back.
Well, I do. I get that, but I just look at it. Oh, of course, yeah. No, yeah, mine fart. Yeah, no, yeah, I get it now. Yeah, Gray in defence. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about the two left footers there. Yeah, I again, it's a big match for Austin. Let's hope he has a good one. And
that clearly means he's
not
number
going to
3 in
be
the pecking order now, right?
Yeah, I mean, what did Dermot go? He went 5-0, didn't he?
Yeah,
I think that's delusional. We're gonna no. Let me finish. We're gonna score 5, but we're gonna win 4-1. But we'll score an own goal. So I'm still giving you your 5 goals, Dermot. But
I tell you what, you and me, Soren, right, must be the two most delusional fans.
Oh,
you're
I love it, though, buddy. I don't know. I just think. Look, it's not going to be 5-0. It's not going to be 4-1. I think it could be quite a scrappy 3-2 again, something like that. This team are no mugs that we're playing. It's not going to be an easy game. I just hope. I think. Look, I said it earlier. If the fans are on board and they're giving it for the team, then I think we could go on and do a decent score. But it's not going to be a rout. It is not going to be a rout. I hope it is. Please, God, please let it be a rout. Let it be 5-0. That would be fantastic. But I kind of see it being 3-2, 3-1, something like that.
Do you know what? I agree with you. I don't think it is going to be, a really easy game. I think, it might take us a while to break down that sort of low block. However, it would be nice to sign off the group phase in style, a nice cohesive win, a very good performance. But you got to take into account, the fatigue, you look at even some being rolled out again, he could also do with a rest. So, look, let's wait and see. My hope is Mikey Moore can step up with a bit of freshness in that forward line, provide some chances for Richie to get on the end of. And I think he can be the answer to this low block team. One thing I've seen this kid do is put crosses in from the left, from the right, with the inside or the outside of his boot, and they're very, very accurate as well. So I think, it's a wise decision bringing him in. Donovan, let's get on. The Owlad's gone with 3-0 and says up the Spurs. Big up the Owlad. Come on, you Spurs. Let's go. Donovan, what's your thoughts on the lineup? My man, we'll get your score predictions.
Yeah, initial thoughts. I don't know. Sar's been bugging me lately. Seems like he's just, I don't know. Maybe his head's not fully on there yet. I don't know. Maybe just, I don't know. His first touch has been letting him down. He's been bobbling around. I hope Davies is a center back and Gray's playing as the overlapping fullback. Yeah, no, it's good to see Mikey Moore, Namor, Bunny on the on the front sheet there. Brandon Austin, I like watching the guy. He seems like a quality quality goalkeeper, and it looks like we're gonna get your transfer fee for him now. I think he's went up from £100,000 player to like multi-million-dollar goalkeeper now. So just in his display. But no, I'm on that happy delusional train too. You guys have rubbed off on me. I'm going for a 5-0 myself.
Wow.
I'm going for a Poro screamer, Bentancur header, Son curler, a Richie header because he's in mountain form.
Imagine a Van de Ven goal on his return, Donovan.
Yeah, and that's
Van de Ven run.
Yeah, and a Van de Ven tapping off a scrappy corner like he did against Newcastle there. I think
we've got to have a 60-yard run.
I want him to save his hamstrings. I want him to wrap his hamstrings in cotton wool. And I think when you have a special player like Van de Ven coming back on the team, it's going to ignite an already. Like if we are actually behind Ange and the players have really backed and they've dug down and dug into the trenches and the hatches and they batten the hatches and they're really a siege mentality, having a world-class player like Van de Ven return to the fold is only going to elevate their game even more, and it's going to give them it's going to I forgot the word I was going to say, electrify them, but it's going to spark. And this week we have Van de Ven, next week we'll have Romero, and then after that we'll have Vicario. Next thing we'll know, Vidogi's back, and then we have our everybody's firing on all cylinders. So start of a process. Let's get these 3 points. Let's end with a bang, like you said, Dave, and let's go into the knockout rounds in style.
100%. And look, I agree with you. I hope that Van de Ven can, bring a massive boost back to everybody. I think it will.
Invigorate. There we go. Invigorate. There you go. Invigorate the squad.
Yeah, invigorate. But the thing is, we're doing a lot of, back and forth sprints. But I think with Van de Ven there, getting back to playing a bit of a higher line, because it has dropped with Dragusin and Archie Gray. I think getting back to playing a bit of a higher line will actually help Tottenham be able to get more pressure up, further up the pitch and, get back to looking a bit more like Ange ball. And then you've got Romero to follow in beside that. So hopefully they can provide a massive boost for us going forward. Paul Markey says breaking Spurs and Burn verbal agree on Tel. Now, because I'm using the predicted line or Jack's using the predicted lineup, I can't sign into the account. Can anyone verify if this is true?
I'm going into Fabrizio's now. See, can I hear anything? So give us a minute. Dave,
it's been said for quite some time that we've agreed on the fee and that with Bayern.
Yeah.
Just
can we get a Dermotron? Here we go.
Waiting for the team, but I think the deal that we've proposed is a permanent deal rather than a loan.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
All I've got here was I've asked the question to the person I use, so I'm waiting to call back on him. But all I'm seeing is that 3 hours ago, Tottenham are prepared to invest on Mathys Tel on a permanent transfer, as reported yesterday. There's nothing from Fabrizio saying that it is now a permanent agreement or anything, and I'm going right through it now, so there's nothing here yet.
Derma, I'm ringing you now.
You're not my source. I'm telling you that now. And it is HP, not tomato.
But look, Paul Markey, let's wait and see what happens. As far as I'm aware, as far as last I read, basically we're not the only option on the table. Yes, I think we're the only club to actually agree the price, but all we've done is tell people what the asking price is now, and all they've got to do is stump up the cash, and all of a sudden they can talk to him. And look, the fact that he's holding off and he's not sold, he's not jumping at the opportunity to join Tottenham Hotspur. It worries me a little. Look, let's wait and see what the outcome is. Hopefully, we can sell him the dream, lie to him, get him in here, and let's see what happens. But big up, Paul Markey. Really appreciate support. Big up, DJ Samuel. Good to see you as well, my man, along with Rowan as well. Great to see you. Don't know where Soren's gone. I think he's just dropped out. I don't know who's upset him. I guarantee you Dermot's upset him somehow. We'll just blame Dermo anyway. But guys, I want to say a massive thank you to Donovan, Jack, Soren, and Dermot for giving up their time for this great show this evening. Really appreciate it. Not easy talking points tonight, but I think we all done a great job. I really enjoyed the conversation, so thank you very much. I want to say a massive thank you as well to all of you guys at home, enthusiastic, passionate Spurs fans, for tuning in, engaging in the conversation with us, getting your voices heard, getting your comments in. I really do appreciate that. So thank you very, very much. And then lastly, to people who have gone the extra mile to help support the channel today, Wembley 1, Peter Kagayas, the Big D, Paul Markey, and Kaylee Davies. Really, really appreciate the support, guys. So, guys, we're going to wrap it up here. I'll see you back here for the watch along in half an hour's time. We will be starting at 7:30. Building up to the big game, just getting the first half an hour sort of nerves out the way, and hopefully we can qualify in style tonight. My dad's gone with the pigeon. Is that the pigeon in there or violin? I'm not quite sure. We'll say it's a pigeon. He's gone with the pigeon. He's a happy clapper today. He wants Richarlison to score goals. But guys, that's it from me. See you back here in half an hour. As always, come on, you Spurs. Tottenham in Europe, Lily White under the lights. What's there not to be excited about? Come on, let's go.
Let's go. Come on, boys.
Come on, you Spurs.